Tomato sauce. It's the base for spaghetti, the soul of pizza, the magic in chili, and the secret ingredient in countless stews and soups. In the US, hundreds of millions of jars are sold every year, making it one of the most common items in American kitchens. In this journey, we'll start in wide, sun-soaked tomato fields and follow the harvest through massive processing plants, high-speed machines, and strict quality controls until it reaches the store shelf, and eventually, your table. Before we dive into the journey from farm to factory, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll never miss another fascinating look at how everyday foods are made. Not every tomato can become sauce. The fresh, juicy slicing tomatoes you see in salads aren't ideal for cooking. They contain too much water and too little flesh. For sauce, factories use specific varieties like Roma and plum tomatoes, which are dense, meaty, and naturally sweet. These tomatoes are bred not just for flavor but for consistency. They ripen evenly, resist splitting during harvest, and hold up under transport. In the US, the top tomato-producing state for processing is California, thanks to its long growing season, dry climate, and fertile soil. Seeds are planted in late winter or early spring, depending on the region. Farmers work with agronomists to choose the best seed varieties for yield, disease resistance, and flavor. The plants grow under precise irrigation schedules, with nutrients delivered directly to their roots through drip systems. Tomatoes destined for sauce need warmth and sunlight. Lots of it. Farmers monitor soil temperature, weather patterns, and moisture levels daily. Because processing tomatoes are often grown in huge monoculture fields, pest management is essential. Integrated pest control techniques help reduce chemical use while keeping the plants healthy. By midsummer, the fields are covered in lush green vines heavy with fruit. As the tomatoes mature, they turn from green to deep, vibrant red, a signal that harvest is near. Timing is everything here. Pick too early and the sauce will lack sweetness and color. Too late, and the tomatoes may be overripe and spoil in transit. When harvest day arrives, it's all about speed and efficiency. Large-scale tomato farms use mechanical harvesters, huge machines that move down the rows, shaking the plants and separating the ripe tomatoes from the vines. These harvesters can collect up to 150 tons of tomatoes per day. The tomatoes are loaded into open trucks or trailers and immediately covered with tarps to protect them from the sun. From here, time is critical. Processing tomatoes are sent to the factory within 4 to 8 hours of being picked to preserve freshness and flavor. When the trucks arrive at the processing plant, the first stop is the receiving station. The tomatoes are weighed, inspected, and dumped into large water flumes, long channels of gently flowing water that wash away dirt, dust, and leaves. This initial wash also keeps the tomatoes from bruising as they move deeper into the factory. Next, they pass through sorting stations. Here, trained workers and automated optical scanners remove any underripe, overripe, or damaged fruit. Quality is key. A single rotten tomato can affect the flavor of an entire batch. Once sorted, the tomatoes move to scalding machines. These use either hot water or steam to heat the tomatoes quickly, loosening their skins without cooking the flesh inside. The skins are then removed using rubber discs or gentle air jets. Some factories recycle the peels into animal feed or compost, ensuring nothing goes to waste. The peeled tomatoes are now ready for the main transformation, turning into sauce. The peeled tomatoes are sent through industrial crushers, breaking them into a thick, pulpy mixture. This pulp flows into massive stainless steel vats, some holding tens of thousands of gallons, where it's gently simmered. Cooking serves three purposes. It reduces water content for a thicker sauce, concentrates flavor, and kills harmful bacteria. Depending on the desired product, the sauce might be cooked for 20 minutes for a fresh, light flavor or for several hours for a deep, rich taste. Factories follow specific recipes for seasoning. Common additions include salt for flavor and preservation, sugar to balance acidity, herbs like basil and oregano, garlic and onion powder. Large paddle mixers stir the sauce constantly, ensuring even cooking and preventing scorching. No batch leaves the cooking line without testing. Quality control labs inside the factory check. If something's off, say the sauce is too thin, the batch can be adjusted before packaging. Every lot is documented so that any issues can be traced back to the exact source. Once the sauce passes inspection, it's pumped into sterilized jars, cans, or pouches. High-speed filling machines can fill and cap hundreds of containers per minute. After sealing, the containers are pasteurized, heated to kill any remaining bacteria and extend shelf life. Labels are applied showing the product name, ingredients, and a production code for traceability. The packaged sauce is boxed and stacked onto pallets. From here, it's either stored in climate-controlled warehouses or loaded directly onto trucks for shipment. Large food companies often ship tomato sauce nationwide, from local grocery stores to restaurants and institutional kitchens. In most cases, the tomatoes picked in late summer are transformed into sauce and ready for sale within just a few weeks. Modern tomato sauce production is becoming greener. Many factories run on renewable energy, recycle processing water, and turn tomato waste into compost or biofuel. Precision farming technology, like drones and satellite imagery, helps farmers use less water and fertilizer while producing higher yields. Cage-free eggs may be trending in poultry, but in tomatoes, the trend is toward regenerative agriculture, where soil health and biodiversity are prioritized. This could change not just how tomatoes are grown, but how they taste in your sauce. If you enjoyed this journey from farm to factory, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. We've got plenty more behind-the-scenes food stories coming your way. Every year, American farmers grow and harvest over 680 million pounds of green peas. That's enough to fill more than 2.5 billion cans, served in kitchens, schools, and restaurants across the country. But what most people don't realize is just how fast and precise this entire process has to be. Green peas are delicate. Their sweetness fades quickly once they're picked, so farmers have only a few hours to harvest, process, and can them before the quality drops. It's a race against time, and it happens across thousands of acres in places like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Oregon, and Washington. Massive machines harvest millions of pods. High-speed belts carry them to giant factories. And advanced canning systems seal them while they're still fresh. From the soil to the can, all in under 4 hours. In this video, we'll explore how American farms and factories work together to turn green peas into one of the most trusted canned foods in the country. This is the story of how a simple vegetable becomes a high-speed food success. Let's begin. Where the journey starts, in the fields. Green peas are a cool season crop. That means they grow best in mild spring weather, with plenty of sunlight and steady rainfall. In the US, the ideal places for growing peas include the Pacific Northwest, the Midwest, and parts of New York State, where the weather is just right from April to June. The process begins with carefully selected seeds. Farmers choose pea varieties based on flavor, sweetness, resistance to disease, and harvest time. Once the soil is prepared and tested for nutrients, the seeds are planted using GPS-guided planters that space them with precision, ensuring the perfect balance between air, water, and sunlight. Unlike crops like corn or wheat, peas don't take long to grow. In just 50 to 60 days, a field can go from bare soil to lush green plants filled with pods. During this time, the plants are carefully monitored. When the pods start to plump and the peas reach their peak size, usually between 8 and 10 millimeters, it's time to prepare for harvest. In the next section, we'll head into the field and watch how machines harvest millions of peas in a matter of hours. When it comes to green peas, timing isn't just important, it's everything. Once the peas reach their peak sweetness, farmers have a narrow window of just 24 to 48 hours to harvest them before that natural sugar begins to fade. Miss that window, and the peas turn starchy, tough, and less flavorful. That's why the harvest process for peas is one of the most precisely coordinated operations in American agriculture. It all begins with a specialized machine called a pea viner. Unlike regular harvesters, a pea viner doesn't just cut the plant. It picks, strips, and shells the peas in a single motion. These machines can weigh up to 20 tons and are designed to move through the fields at a steady pace, collecting thousands of pods every minute.
And we'll
As the machine moves forward, rotating beaters gently knock the pea pods off the vines. Then, inside the harvester, a series of drums and screens separate the peas from their pods, all while the machine is still moving. The empty pods and vines are either spread back onto the field as mulch or collected for compost. The freshly shelled peas are then transferred into large stainless steel holding bins, which are kept cool to preserve freshness.
And they're only travelling there, I think, probably 1 or 2k, not very fast. But when there's 3 of them working, and they're working day and night, they will soon cover the ground. And as this machine goes past, if you look here, you may recognise those. They are Class Terra tracks that you would see on the combine harvester. And the machine is a rear wheel steer, very much like a combine would be. So we'll go back and we'll see if we can have a look under one of the machines, and you can have a look at the header and how that works. And this machine, this is the header. So this is what comes down and strips the vine and then passes it through up into the machine. So this is something you don't normally see, which is inside the actual harvester. So here we've got the beaters, the satellite beaters to the side, and they take effectively take the pod, try and get the peas out of the pods, and the peas will fall through into this meshing onto a conveyor belt below. There might be a few little bits of pod that get through as well. They're fed all the way to the front of the machine, where there's various fans and other buckets and things that will clear that off, so it only leaves the peas then on the final conveyor belt, which feeds it into the tank. I might have missed a few little bits off, but that's the general process of how this works. So if you look at this machine, it looks like it's jacked up, but the machine is fully self-leveling. So when they go on steep slopes downhill, they can tilt it back or to the side. So if they're going along an incline, they can tilt the machine to level that up. What they're doing is they're only required 2 machines today. They don't need all 3, and that's due to what the factory will ask for. So there was a slight squeak on the bearing. They thought, preventative-wise, get that fixed rather than it go in the future and they have to deal with it when it's in demand. So while it's a little bit quieter than it normally will be, they can get on with the maintenance job.
From here, the peas need to make it to the processing plant as quickly as possible, usually within 2 to 4 hours after harvest. To make that happen, fleets of refrigerated trucks are pre-positioned around the fields. As each bin fills up, the peas are loaded and driven straight to nearby canneries. No storage, no delay. Some facilities are located just a few miles away from the fields to reduce travel time even further. This direct route, field to factory, is what helps maintain the peas' natural sweetness and vibrant green color. During peak harvest season, this entire process runs around the clock. Operators work in shifts, equipment is maintained daily, and harvest schedules are planned down to the hour. In the next section, we'll go inside one of these high-tech processing plants and see how millions of peas are handled at lightning speed before they ever make it into a single can. From here, the peas begin their journey through a high-speed cleaning and sorting system. First stop, washing. The peas are flushed with jets of clean, chilled water that remove soil, bits of vine, and any remaining debris. After sizing, the peas pass through optical sorters, high-speed cameras paired with computer vision. These machines scan tens of thousands of peas per second, identifying any that are off-color or misshapen. Defective peas are removed instantly with blasts of air. Now comes the most critical stage, flash freezing. To maintain their natural flavor and texture, peas must be frozen quickly, usually within 2 to 4 hours of harvest. They're fed onto conveyor belts that move through blast freezers or fluidized bed freezers. These systems use powerful cold air, sometimes at temperatures as low as -40 degrees Celsius, to freeze each pea individually in just a few minutes. This rapid freezing method prevents the formation of large ice crystals, which can damage cell walls and lead to mushy peas after cooking. Instead, the result is a frozen product that stays firm, sweet, and green, even after months in storage. But not all peas are destined for the freezer aisle. Many are headed straight to the canning line. So instead of freezing, those peas are routed to the next part of the factory, where they're prepared for immediate packaging. Regardless of their final destination, quality is checked constantly. Factory workers perform spot checks for flavor, texture, sugar content, and color. If a batch falls below standard, it's removed from the line or diverted for use in soups, purees, or animal feed. By the end of the processing stage, millions of peas have been carefully cleaned, sorted, and either flash frozen or prepared for canning, all within just a few hours of leaving the field. It's a remarkable transformation powered by automation, cold temperatures, and perfect timing. Next, we'll follow the peas to the canning floor, where they're sealed in airtight containers and made shelf-stable, ready to be stored, shipped, and eaten months or even years later. For the millions of green peas that don't get frozen, there's another destination waiting: the canning line. This is where peas are transformed into one of the most convenient, shelf-stable vegetables in the world, sealed inside cans that can last up to 5 years without refrigeration. The process begins just minutes after the peas are sorted. They're gently transported to the canning area through sanitized pipes or conveyors, where they meet pre-sterilized metal cans already waiting in line. Each empty can is thoroughly cleaned with high-pressure steam or sterilizing sprays before use. Then, high-speed dispensers fill each can with a precise weight of peas, typically around 8 to 10 ounces for a standard 15-ounce can. Next comes the addition of liquid. A precise mixture of water and salt, known as brine, is poured into each can to keep the peas moist and flavorful during storage. The amount of salt is carefully controlled, and many manufacturers also offer low-sodium or no-salt versions based on consumer demand. Once the peas and brine are inside, the cans move to the vacuum sealer. Here, any excess air is removed to reduce oxygen, one of the main causes of spoilage. Then the lids are sealed using a method called double seaming, a mechanical process that creates an airtight, watertight bond between the can and the lid.